If you don't like spice, just chill on the spice. Hi there, my name is Sarah Jane and welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm going to show you how I make my jerk chicken for my meal prep. So you wanna start off with freshly cleaned chicken. In this recipe, I use legs and I use thighs, but usually for myself and for my meal prep, I only use thighs, and that's just a matter of preference. The key to making any meat or food in general taste good is to use as many fresh ingredients as possible. So what you'll see me doing in this video is putting a green sauce type of thing onto the chicken. And now this green sauce is something that I newly discovered because usually it's not green. What it is my holy grail. There is ginger in there is garlic in there, and there is onion in there. If you check out any of my recipes on my blog, you know that if I'm making any form of meat, chances are there is ginger, there is garlic, and there is onion. Those three work really amazing together to just make a base of deliciousness. So the reason this one was green is actually because I used green onions instead of white onions. So traditionally, you're supposed to be using Scotch bonnet pepper. In this case, I use jalapeno because it's what I had, and Scotch bonnet is just a little bit too much. So I didn't add that in there. So what you'll be seeing here is my ginger, my garlic, my green onion, and my jalapeno peppers. And what I do is I throw that in my Ninja Billet and I whiz that thing so that it, infuses the flavors and blends everything up. I also put a dry jerk seasoning onto my chicken. I just picked this up from my local Asian grocery store. I'm sure you can find it in like Walmart, but I just did that because when you're seasoning chicken, you don't just want to use a wet rub, you want to use a dry rub. So you want to make sure that you're combining different flavor profiles. So you want to make sure that you have a dry rub and a wet rub. So you saw me make the wet rub earlier. On this, I put salt, pepper, jerk seasoning, cayenne pepper, a little bit of garlic powder, and that's really it. I would recommend using your hands to mix your chicken because you really do get to get the seasoning into the crevices and under the skin. However, unfortunately, I didn't have gloves, and you might say, stop being bougie, just, use your hands. But the fact of the matter is, I don't like my hands to smell like food. Because I did not have gloves, I used a spoon, but it's always better when you use your hands. When you're making chicken that you're not putting in like some form of stew or whatever, you wanna really make sure that you season all sides of the chicken. So it's not enough to just like put all the seasonings on top and mix it up. It won't taste good because the seasoning wouldn't have got on the other side of the chicken. So I always do layers of flavor. You season one side of the chicken first, you flip it, and then you do the same type of seasoning on top as well. Then I add on my wet rub. What I've shown in the video is I've actually taken the wet rub and I've taken 2 spoons of my jerk sauce. It's amazing. It's also very hot. If you don't like spice, just chill on the spice. I mix that 2 tablespoons or 3, depending on how much chicken I have, in with my wet rub, and then apply that on the chicken. And believe it or not, the green wet rub turns to a darker brown, blackish color when you add in the jerk sauce. So your chicken doesn't end up green, and that's great. Again, mix that bad boy up, stick it underneath the skin, in the back of the chicken. You really just wanna rub and infuse the flavors. Now, the next thing I do is I cover my bowl of chicken and I put it in the fridge. In the past, I didn't recognize the importance of marination, but I do believe that marinating your meat makes it taste 10 times better. 3 to 4 hours. Obviously, the longer the better because flavors really do get to penetrate through the meat. So after my chicken has marinated, I take it out of the fridge and I place it on, I wanna say a wire rack. It's not a wire rack, but I place it on a rack. And I always put my chicken the same side up. So if it's skin side up, then it's gonna be skin side up, all of the chicken. And if it's skin side down, then it's going to be skin side down for all of the chicken. However, for presentation reasons, and because I really want my chicken to cook through properly, I put everything skin side down. And that way, everything cooks from the bottom first, and then I can flip them later on and kind of tailor the chicken to look cuter because that's the top and that's the part that everyone's gonna see. And I'd like to have a little bit more control into how the chicken looks because presentation is very important. So I put them all skin side down on the wire rack. I put that in the oven on roast for 375. You can adjust this temperature to whatever works best for your oven, but you want to make sure that your chicken is cooked. That's the most important part. So I put it in there for 45 minutes to about an hour. After that 45 to 1 hour period, I flip my chicken and now it is skin side up. And in doing so, it is able to roast nicely on the top. Again, the temperature stays at 375 and I might increase it to 400 depending on the size of the chicken. And I cook that through again for another 45 minutes. And usually it's less because I'll be checking it periodically at this time because I know that majority of the chicken is cooked and it's just the top that needs to be cooked. So that is essentially how I make my jerk chicken. Spicy, tangy, delicious, perfect. I do have the actual ingredients and I do have a full-blown recipe on my blog, www.yourfriendsj.com, and I will link it down below in the description bar. If you are looking for community, you're looking for friends, you have some questions you might want to ask, you're looking for some inspiration, you should consider joining the Keto for Dummies Facebook group, where a bunch of people just like you who might be looking to lose a little weight, get their waist a little snatched, can talk and feel free to discuss some of the deepest parts that we don't want to expose to our Instagram feeds. Thank you so much for tuning into my channel. My name is Sarah Jane, and this has been your friend SJ, documenting the process.